very special experience making the first film in 2009, and to be back with these people again, it felt like jumping back in time a little bit. And we knew the challenge was to make a bigger movie and a better movie, and to do it with these people was a huge challenge and also the greatest fun I've ever had.
In this film, J.J., which I believe was different to the first film, built the entire enterprise on the soundstage, so it was all interlinking. So you really were able to sort of submerge yourself into the future, as it were. And then, of course, I fell over when I first walked onto the Enterprise, which was nothing short of humiliating.
I think what J.J. has done so well is cast a group that gets along off-screen as well as we do, I think, on-screen, and that kind of ineffable quality hopefully translates up there. And it's quite something. The first 2 weeks we were shooting on the bridge, and it had been 4 years since we'd filmed. So, and Scott Chambliss, who's our production designer, designed this incredible, as Alice talked about, this incredible set, and it felt like the make-believe was coming alive. It was very exciting.
Well, I do have the distinct responsibility to alter my physical appearance for the duration of the filming, so for me it's always an added reminder of what I'm working on in that particular time, and there's some amount of discomfort that goes along with altering my appearance to that degree, but it also helps me in many ways inform the character and the physicality of the character. So being back with these people who I love and respect so much is probably the thing that I remember most about returning.
It was very beautiful. I think it felt in the beginning when we were rehearsing that it was almost the fact that for 4 years we were probably nagging J.J. so much to do a second installment of Star Trek, that he finally just gave up and just said, all right, we're going to do it. And then we read the script, and it's absolutely amazing, and you have a feeling it's going to supersede the first one. And then to have the privilege as an artist to be able to come back and work with colleagues that have become your friends, and you've sustained those friendships for this long, and so there's no breaking of the ice. You go right into it, and you feel very, very safe to experiment and to be yourself. I think it's one of the most beautiful gifts that we can ever be given in what we do.
I didn't like it. It's the last thing I wanted to do. No, it was great. It was like putting on a pair of comfortable shoes. You know, as you step into an environment you know well, and you just. You know, it's very easy. It's like stepping into Grandma's parlor, you know. So I know this. I feel safe here. So it was great, and I love these guys so much. They're my besties. So it was wonderful.
Michael Giacchino is an incredible composer who I was lucky enough to begin working with on Alias. He was doing video game soundtracks, and we started working together then and have done a number of films and television series together since. He is brilliant, and it's very easy for me to say to him, looking at a scene, okay, this scene needs to be about the conflict between these characters. It's got to be hopeful, but you also have to feel that there's a tension still. And, you know, I mean, I can say all these ridiculous things, and he has to listen and say, okay, and then go off and come back and present music that invariably not only does that, but so much more. He's truly one of the most influential members of our crew, and I think this score, he just really outdid himself, especially with the score for Benedict's character. I think that suite that he wrote was just brilliant. And again, for Star Wars, it's very early days to know, but I believe that going forward, that John Williams would be doing that film, because apparently he was there long before I was. You know, the focus for us right now, obviously, having just finished this movie, is getting this one out to the public. And I think that, you know, there are certain fans of Star Trek, and I am grateful to all of them and respect all of them. We would never be doing this if there weren't an initial fan base. Having said that, we made this movie for moviegoers, not just for Star Trek fans. What's been nice, because we did the same with the first film, is that many fans, most fans, really did embrace what we did. But there will always be those diehard fans who feel like, what I love is the original, and that's it. And so anything that is not like that, you know, I don't want to get behind. And I, of course, respect that, and I wish we could make it for everyone, but we can only make the movie that we make, you know, that we believe in. So I'm very grateful to the fans who have appreciated going boldly where no one's gone before in what we've tried to do. And we, of course, tried to honor the spirit of the show that they love, but also make a movie for people who want a rousing adventure, not just to see the old version from nearly 50 years ago. And in terms of you know, Star Wars, I feel like I'm trying not to look at it from the outside in, and everything is up for grabs, including, of course, you know, who will be the composer of the movie. Nothing is set in stone yet, so we're just starting that process. But I look forward to coming back to Berlin and having that conversation when the time is right.
In terms of Spock and Kirk, I think they are characters that exist on opposite ends of a spectrum of perspective. And I think each of them has a very fixed point of view. Spock's, of course, being very logical and cool-headed, and Kirk's being very emotional, instinctive, and hot-blooded sometimes. And I think this film in particular, and the journey that the two characters take in its course, are about each of them learning from the other and gaining from the perspective that the other has to offer, and having to face in themselves points of real challenge in order to be the fullest versions of who they can be, and ultimately in order to save one another and help triumph against a tremendous force of evil. And I think Spock and Uhura in this film, you know, it was such a surprise for audiences in the first movie to be faced with the fact of that relationship. And I think in this one, they've done such a great job of taking us in yet another unexpected direction, where the convergence of work and personal relationships actually provide more conflict than I think either of these characters would ever have expected, and certainly than either of them are comfortable with in the environment, which can be humorous, but also then resolves in what I'm grateful for is a pretty harmonious way in the end. So yeah, there's a lot of upheaval in this film, and all of us have to deal with it in our own unique ways.
That's the one thing that is great about working with someone like J.J. and his team of writers, is that you're going to be stepping into shoes of human beings, that whether they're superhuman or they're fighting battles or they punch in the galaxy and then they go to work, they're still being challenged with the everyday issues of heart and I don't know, politics and self-discovery. So the story and the journey between Spock and Uhura is in my opinion, is I think she's learning now the kind of person that he is, and she's encouraging him to cater to his human side, to his human half, and there's a conflict there because he doesn't want to be compromised, because he feels that if he's compromised he'll be weak, and then a lot of people will suffer. And she needs to learn to just understand his Vulcan side, that she's with a man that has a duty before anything else, and but she needs to embrace and accept that when he tells her that she's important to him, that she is. That's really hard for us ladies. We always want more. So that's the conflict, and I like the way the scene that in which J.J. presented us to sort of have it out, which it's not just us sitting down and having a cup of tea. It's our lives are in danger, and right now we're are they gonna kiss and make out? Is she gonna get up and I don't know, throw him out of the ship? It's just, you don't know. But it's really the levity a situation so intense provides is very humorous.
No, when I got the script, I read it in a hotel room in New York, and that was what I read, was that arc. I heard from J.J. and the guys a couple of times because they were excited about the writing process, and this is going to be fun. And I read it, and it was. I remember actually leaping off my sofa that I was sat on I got the script, and I went up to my room, and I was with a friend. I said, I'm going to read the first page of this. I'm going to come down. We'll go do some Christmas shopping. I phoned him 5 minutes later, and I'm not coming down. And I sat and I read it cover to cover, and was just leaping around the room, screaming. I'm a Star Trek fan, and to read it off the page was so exciting, not just for Scotty, but for every character and the new characters. And I think the whole thing was very much intact from the start. So all I had to do was come in and say the lines in a Scottish accent. So, and it was enormous fun. It was great I love the fact that we were all together from the off in this one. In the first film, you gradually meet us all, and we all get the room to be introduced in our own ways. But that meant spreading that out across the movie. In this one, we're all together. We're a family from the beginning, and we hit the ground running. And it was so much fun to spend 5 months with these people. And to consolidate what we built with the first film. So, I'm lucky to be part of this. The thing with J.J. is that I think a film crew is always operates from the head down, and the head of the body politic is invariably the director, and J.J. really does lead from the top, and his energy and his enthusiasm, which is boundless, infuses all of us and inspires us to bring our absolute A game on every single day. And that's entirely a testament to his love of cinema, his love of the arts, his love of storytelling, his love of the whole package. And it's very hard not to get enthused, even on your most tiredest day. J.J. famously says energy, energy before he says action, and it kind of winds us up to this sort of state of performance. I can't think of another word to finish that.
Are you done?
I was going to say performance anxiety, but that was a Freudian slip. You go.
I also think such a mark of a true, profound leader is surrounding oneself with people where there exists an implicit trust and such a profound respect. I think those are the two things: trust, respect, and then also humor that categorize him above anybody else that I've worked with, and I think are the mark of a true leader, authentic, powerful leader, because it does all come to him, but he doesn't ever take that lightly or without the contributions of the people that he surrounds himself with too.
There are often times on set where J.J. he'll step outside of the experience and say, God, you know how lucky we are to get to do what we get to do. And to have someone in such a powerful position with such opportunity and the luxury of what he gets to do, be able to have that kind of humility in the face of all that responsibility, I think is a wonderful thing. And I think too important to note is that his love for what he does and the love for the magic of cinema is really, really important. And a J.J. film experience isn't just the filming of it, it's also what we're doing now and the fun and the magic of what we get to do now, and then to share it with you all. And it doesn't just end with the end of filmmaking, it's the protection of that experience. Like I remember as a kid, standing in line to see E.T. at Grauman's Chinese, and he wants to, in a time before we all knew about special effects, and I often think about J.J.'s protecting that experience for that young kid walking into the theater, so when they walk in and the lights go down, it's a real true, it's that true cinematic experience that I think nowadays, just with the media and with technology and with everybody knowing everything about filmmaking, is not, it's rare.
After the Academy Awards, which I was fortunate enough to attend that year because of a film that I worked on as a producer, and having to fight Benedict for 15 hours that morning after what was a pretty significant party wasn't the most pleasant experience that I've had, having to roll myself around the trash shuttle, as it were, the trash barge. But that sequence, which probably took all told about 11 or 12 days to shoot, was the most exciting part of the experience for me physically. So I was able to chalk it up and take one for the team that day.
I think for Kirk, just being that he always gets the crap kicked out of him, I think at every turn, which I kind of enjoy about Jim Kirk in a way. I think it's kind of it's endearing, hopefully. I guess maybe the one scene where I try to pummel Harrison on Kronos, and he's, Kirk's exhausted and he's going after him. He's trying everything to hurt this man who is invincible. That was a hard day. That was a hard day. A lot of fun though. I enjoyed that because that also was a moment too for, I think, Kirk, where he gets to, it's really the only time, in fact, that he gets to come face to face physically with someone who's hurt him so deeply emotionally, and to see him at the bottom of the barrel try with all of his might to inflict just a modicum of the pain that he's experienced. I enjoy that about the character I get to play, and just wish for a second J.J. had allowed John Harrison to feel some pain.
Answering Klingon, answering Klingon.
I think it's good. I'll let you be the judge when you see it. It was definitely fun. For some reason, there's just something about like me being able to memorize and learn a fictional language quicker than I can learn my lines. That's the way I guess my brain works. But it was tons of fun, and we had somebody there that was I think the creator. We worked with the person that conceived the language.
Yes, like a Klingon linguist.
Yes, a Klingon linguist, and he was always there to correct us and for us to get the right pronunciation, and so it was fun. It was tons of fun.
Working in a fairly dangerous facility, and I casually said to Chris, "Have you got your Neutron Creme on?" Which was it will protect you from the ambient radiation in the air, which will give you sunburn. And I kept him going for about half an hour.
No, you like 5 minutes.
Was it 5 minutes?
No.
And then I said, because he was going to turn into a lizard. And then we thought, let's do this to Anton. So we kept Anton going with the Neutron Creme. We told the makeup department, who started making up little pots of Neutron Creme, that you had to put on.
You've never seen a film group coalesce so quickly around an idea.
We told Tommy, the first AD, that we had to do exercises between takes like this to shake out all the ions from our fingers. So by the time Zach and Zoe came on set, we had this elaborate joke working where we had pots of...
and everything, and I thought it was my last day at work on the movie, and I thought, well, everybody's acting funny, I must be getting a pony. JJ probably has a pony as my going away present, because everybody's acting really weird. And then I wasn't a pony.
And poor JJ.
They would make them believe that you needed to wear Neutron Creme to survive the set.
It also is how we wear the Neutron Creme, in dots.
Yes, there were these dots. So that I'd have Zoe and Anton and then Benedict Cumberbatch coming up to me with these white dots in their face saying, "So about this scene, I want to talk about it." And I'm not very good at not laughing. And I just had to sit there and I felt so guilty because these are people I love, and they had been, and then
so then finally with Benedict, so that was amping up every time. So then Benedict was the next one to show up.
Yeah, we got Benedict really well.
So we had the idea to have Benedict sign a release form.
But the punchline was that Carl Urban and John Cho show up, and they had them do a public service announcement about Neutron Creme, which we actually have on video. And it began with the line, Carl saying, "Hi, I'm actor Carl Urban," and then John saying, "And I'm John Cho." And it was this thing where they basically had to explain how important Neutron Creme was. And then on the cue cards at the end, it said, "This is all a joke," basically, and they realized they were being made fun of in front of the entire crew. So. The high frame rate thing, frankly, and while I'm sure, you know, it has every chance of catching on and being the greatest thing ever, to me, it looks like a soap opera. It looks like videotape. I can't watch it and get as excited as I can about 24 frames. That's not to say it won't become the norm, but, and certainly there's 60 frames and 48 frames, but I don't know if this is psychologically true or not, but there's something about the 24 frames that, even though I'm sure technically it's not as smooth and, you know, there's motion blur, etc., there's something about the lack of information that works for me, because it makes me, you know, like, interpolate sort of the frames I'm seeing, meaning I'm filling in the blanks. I get involved. It feels more real. Somehow the high frame rate is so much information. It's almost like exposition in a story where it's sort of, it's pushing me away as opposed to drawing me in. And somehow, maybe it's just because I'm accustomed to it, the 24 rate feels better to me. But again, we'll see what happens over the course of time. But so far, I haven't seen the higher frame rate version that makes me a fan.